Happy Saturday, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Attorney Tom here, and I'm actually at the office because I start a wrongful death trial on Monday, but I thought I would take a quick break from that to make a fun video, specifically to discuss a topic that everybody has been asking me to cover, and that is the Houston Astros lawsuits. I'm going to be talking about a couple of different lawsuits. One, the lawsuit brought by Mike Bolsinger, who is a former MLB pitcher. Two, the lawsuit against the Astros by season ticket holders. Three, a potential lawsuit that the Los Angeles Dodgers could bring. And four, what would happen if a Houston Astros player got hurt this upcoming season due to a premeditated retaliation by another team. Before I jump into it, I just need to disclose that I am a lifelong Houstonian, born and raised, and I'm also a Houston Astros fan. Although I'm going to do my best to view this objectively, I just want anybody to know in case I show implicit bias. You can take what I say with a grain of salt if you want. Okay, let's start out with the lawsuit filed by a former MLB pitcher named Mike Bolsinger. And I think this lawsuit has a number of problems. First, let's talk about, is cheating in baseball breaking the law? While it does go against the rules of the MLB, does breaking the rules of the MLB constitute breaking the United States law? And the short answer is, it depends. Certainly the plaintiffs in this case hope that a court finds that the Astros' conduct was fraudulent, therefore allowing them to say that they intentionally, or at the very least negligently, acted in order to economically benefit them by winning World Series, where they could then increase ticket prices, sales, TV sponsorships, things like that, and negatively affected their opponents, such as Mike Bolsinger, who alleges that the Astros' success against him caused his MLB career to be over. And while I can't give a definitive answer to that question right now, I don't even think we need to get that far in the analysis with respect to Mike Bolsinger. I took a look at his career statistics, and he was in the MLB for roughly 4 or 5 seasons, and his statistics weren't stellar. He hovered somewhere around a 5 or 6 ERA every season he pitched except for one. And what that tells me is that there's probably a lack of causation between the Astros cheating scandal and the termination of his career. In his petition, he alleges that his last game ever as an MLB pitcher was against the Astros, and the Astros' success against him was kind of the death blow to his career. Again, you have to be put in that position. If he was a rock star or even a solid MLB pitcher and he went to the Astros and had a bad game, there's no way his career would be over. So that is a very hard argument to make on legal grounds. Additionally, I see some jurisdictional issues over the lawsuit, which was filed in California. I certainly don't think that that is a correct venue. So in conclusion, with Mike Bolsinger's case, I don't think that he would prevail. I think the Astros have better legal standing. Now let's move on to the case involving Houston Astros season ticket holders. Now this is actually fairly interesting, and while a lawsuit hasn't been filed yet, I've talked to a lot of colleagues thinking that whoever is bringing these cases is going to bring them under the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. And under the DTPA, a defendant who acts intentionally to defraud its customers is subject to treble damages. Treble means triples. So let's just say someone buys season tickets for $10,000. Well, if a court finds that the Astros acted intentionally to steal the signs in order to specifically increase season ticket sales, well then they could in theory recover $30,000 plus attorney's fees. So you can imagine that the Astros are worried that if a critical number of season ticket holders sign up for this lawsuit and they lose, they could very well face millions of dollars of exposure. But I think this lawsuit is weak for a couple of reasons. One, as a local Houstonian who knows a bunch of Astros season ticket holders, I don't think the average person has the tolerance to want to pursue legal action against the Astros. Second, there is a huge causation issue. You're going to have to prove that the winning in the 2017 and 2018 seasons directly caused someone to buy the tickets. So say someone was a season ticket holder for the last 20 years. Well, they probably don't have a case because you can make the argument that they were going to buy the tickets anyway. However, of course, you can make the argument that the price increase is what is the amount in controversy. And overall, I think the Astros could legitimately make an argument that they were stealing signs in order to win ball games, not necessarily to sell season tickets. While season tickets are the end product, the people who were stealing the signs were the players and coaches. And they really aren't concerned about the business operations. They're more concerned about winning games. Okay, now let's talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have not filed a lawsuit, and I don't know if they intend to file a lawsuit, but certainly I think that they have the highest damages throughout this entire ordeal and probably the best case. It all depends, again, on the causation. Can they prove that but for the sign stealing of the Astros, they would have won the World Series? Now, what the Astros would say is if you look at the 2017 World Series, their pitching was phenomenal, specifically in Game 6 and 7, which occurred in Los Angeles. And again, what they're going to say is pitching has nothing to do with the sign stealing, and they won in large part because of that. And I certainly don't claim to be an expert on this situation. I don't know really the extent of how it was used. I think that if any lawsuit were to be brought, so if anybody has a case against the Astros, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. And if they do decide to bring legal action, I will make a full and proper video, not this just quick hodgepodge to discuss it. Okay, fourth, something that I don't think a lot of people have thought about. Recently in the news, I think it was even this morning, Dusty Baker, the new manager of the Houston Astros, said he's worried about premeditated retaliation against the Astros. What does that mean? In my mind, that means pitchers throwing at the Houston Astros batters on purpose. Now let's say a Houston Astros batter got hurt because of this premeditated action. I actually think that this would be a case. And while sports players do consent to the possibility of being injured on the field, and you could even make the argument they consent to possibility of being injured through normal baseball actions, which includes retaliation for in-game actions, I don't think we've ever seen a situation in which almost an entire league is premeditatively and deliberately going to go after the Astros. So I would argue that if an Astros player got hurt from a deliberate and premeditated retaliation, they should be able to recover for any damages they suffered if they endure career-ending injuries. But then it just becomes a game of how to prove it. Unless pitchers go on Twitter or interviews saying that they are actively planning on hitting the Astros players during the course and scope of the year, which, again, I don't think anybody would do. Okay, I'm sorry for rambling on. I think that this video was fun to make. Again, if anything progresses, I'll do a proper video with more case law and analysis. I just wanted to take a break from preparing for this trial. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have a good day. I rest my case.